Dougie Zinis, welcome to Running Your Stories.
Kevin.
Been looking forward to having a chat with you. I think I mentioned we almost met on the Lakeland 100.
Yeah.
I caught up with your Calder Valley group early on in the race, and I was chatting with one of your mates,
Kevin.
Simon Ball.
Yeah.
After I nearly tripped him up with my trekking poles.
But
then you went off and ran a bit of a quicker race than me, so
a good day.
I had a bad day. I was much slower than 2 years ago, so these things happen.
Very warm.
It was
put it
warm.
Down to the heat.
Yes, I'm not good in the heat. So and then you've just keep seeming to go on to bigger and better things. After the Lakeland 100, what was it, 5th place you finished in?
Yeah.
Place, which it's always think that's a race where there's always a bit of a stacked field. Not necessarily people you've heard of, but it's a very competitive race.
All right. It were fast at the front. It were.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. And then were you playing around with some BG stuff after that?
The double BG.
Yeah.
8 week after.
Yeah, that's some undertaking. I helped Gwyn on his double BG, which he completed, but nowhere near as fast as you did.
Well, a good day. I kept going. I didn't get injured, so
yeah,
it always works.
Yeah, and then onto the spine.
Yeah.
So again, I kind of looked up that you'd won the Challenger in 2020. Is that right?
Yeah, 2020, just before the world went to.
Yeah, really nice. So where did you start from? I mean, you're obviously running to a very high level now. I was wondering where this all came from. Have you been running all your life, or?
No, I started when I was 28. I was overweight and unfit. I had a mini stroke when I was 24, so I was just down, didn't look after myself when I was younger. I met my wife. She went running every morning, and I started from there and dropped 4 stone eventually, and joined Calder Valley Feldrunners 2016, and onwards and upwards. You look round at all your club mates, some inspirations, isn't there?
Yeah.
You find out about these races and challenges, and you think I can do that. So
meet some bad influences like Bill and Simon.
Yeah, Bill, Simon, Kevin, Ian Ilston, Symington, Carl Gray. They're all there. Gavin Holland.
Yep. Yeah, but I mean, it's obviously kind of a great story, being sort of overweight and sorting your life out a bit and starting running, but to get to the level you're at now, what's your training like? Are you
fluctuate? So I'll build. I like to do big blocks, 8 week blocks maybe. Maybe a bit of a rest week mid cycle. I'll concentrate on fitness first. I'll concentrate on leg strength. I always throw a lot of speed sessions in. Do a bit of road, even there, run home from work. I don't live 200-300 meters away from home, but I'll run home 10 miles, roll my pack on my back. But I'll keep to road on them sessions. You can just grind them out and not think about it much. I like a lot of hill work, being a fell runner. I like to get to lakes. You can just smash your legs up there, can't you? And but yeah, I'll go up to, depends what I'm doing, but I'll try to get up to about 80-mile weeks consecutive for 2-3 weeks before I'll rest a week. But normal training, talking about 40-50-mile weeks, I'll try to get 10,000 foot in if I can. But yeah, there's some good hills around this area.
Yeah,
as you know, South Armham's my Matterhorn. I'm down there so many times. I think I've done every path over lockdowns, every blade of grass now. But yeah, it's a good training hill.
Yeah. No, it sounds like a good training strategy. With I can kind of recognize all the core elements in there that you're saying about working on fitness and strength first, and then keeping the speed work in there as things go on. Yet it sounds like you do it in a fairly relaxed way.
Yeah, it's you got to have it relaxed, or you don't enjoy it, do you? So
yeah,
I don't try, especially with long distance. I don't think you really need to train over 80% anyhow. Unless I'm doing my double tempo runs, sometimes I'll try to do double tempo runs. 2 days on trot, half marathons each time, just to build that endurance. But that'll be mid-cycle, more likely. I'll do 2 or 3 weeks where I'll stick them sessions in. I'll push a bit harder on them, but apart from that, I never try to go over 80%. So I'll never go over 80% in a ultra marathon anyhow.
Yeah,
just to get to the end. No sprint finishes.
Well, I don't think you need to when you. I mean, obviously you finished in joint second, but you'd already negotiated that you didn't need to sprint finish.
Yeah, well, the plan was to have a sprint finish on the last field, but then it's different when you've done all that distance. And we'd had so much fun. Just touched the wall together. Both got a second. It's good.
Yeah, no, it is. Yeah, I partnered up with a guy over the last night because we're both not massively struggling, but we just thought it was a bit safer. And we did run to the finish because we're 3 minutes under 5 days when we finished.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And we didn't want to go over 5 days. So we ran down and touched the wall together.
Why not?
Get under the 5 days, which was great. Yeah, so that's great training. I do like the relaxed approach with all the elements in there, because I tried back end of 2020 into 2021 training with a coach, and for me I found it did get too much, basically not fun. It kind of became stressful trying to always think about what you're supposed to be doing instead of just relaxing and enjoying it a bit more. So I've definitely gone back that way now and enjoying it a lot more. So how were you feeling coming into the spine?
Well, 10 weeks out, I got COVID, so I had to have 10 days off, obviously, training. I had a bit of a heavy chest, but nothing bad. 5 days later, I felt good. I'd got 5 days solid in. I was building my mileage up nicely. I was aiming for 8 week out, so I was aiming for a good block of 5 weeks. And then smashed my little toe offside at bed, so I broke my little toe. So I'd have another week off. My toe was massive, so I had to go through all my old trainers and find the ones with a hole in the little toe. And I trained with them on just to keep my fitness up. I couldn't build on any fitness. And then hopefully it'll settle down on the 3 weeks coming down. So it wasn't perfect, but I'd had a good year. I'd had some good events last year, and just trust me, overall fitness. When I got there, I don't know, it just made me think I need to go back now, because with full fitness. But it might have had full fitness, who knows, but we'll see.
Yeah, it does that to you, doesn't it? I'm thinking the same, because I went into it with very little fitness because I'd been injured a lot of the year.
Yeah.
And so I hiked the whole thing. And still for hiking, I think I put in a decent time.
5 days, massive, isn't it?
Yeah. So I really want to go back and do a bit of running.
See what you can do.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So it'd be nice to do it without the diversion as well.
Yeah. I read your race report, and I think everybody's saying the same. Like that big diversion at the end of Hadrian's Wall, it was the terrain wasn't really any different, wasn't really any worse than what you'd get if you were on the route, but it messes with your head.
Yeah,
it's such a big way. It's just, I was swearing at everyone and everything. I was glad I was on my own. I wasn't in a good place.
Yeah. So yeah, I went into it wishing I'd done the more training, but the bonus was my little toe good. It felt good. The night before, well rested, I'm confident in my kit, and I'm happy. Yeah. Once I got through kit check, obviously, I was happy.
Yeah.
Just so nervous going into kit check, but even though you've checked your kit, but yeah.
Yeah, I think one of my challenges, I got a full kit check. I think it's because I've done 2 challenges, and then this was my second attempt at the spine. And getting the full kit check actually made me happier, because then you know everything's been checked. You don't have any doubts about anything anymore. And you can. It's just. I know you've said in your race report, and it's such a massive kit list.
Yeah.
There's so many details to try and remember and get it all right.
And some little things as well, what you just might forget. But there's no chance, because you check your bag about 3,000 times.
I know. Yeah. So I'm just thinking. So on the start line, I sort of I didn't know you to say hello to. I stood chatting with a few other people. Were you squaring up with Damo? And
no, I went mid-pack. I went and talked to Bill, and Craig Stansfield, who went about mid-packish. So just as the time was ticking down, I thought I'd leave them to it, because I didn't want to get caught into a super fast start, especially going up Kinder. It's way too early for me to be doing that. I didn't want to be doing that in this race. So now I'd be 90% straight away. It's not the way to go, is it? So yeah, I set off with pretty much just in front of Craig, mid-pack, and just jogged. Just try to get up the street, so I'm not going into the trees, into the pathway, in it with a bunch, just so you can get through it okay. Probably about 10th when I went up there, and just jog without getting out of breath, get through it, up and over, down valley, unwind, get warmed up, and get ready for climb. That was my plan, and for that bit, and it was good.
Yeah.
A little too warm. I got my layers just right.
Yeah, the layers were an interesting thing. I found probably more so on that first day than any other, because up on top it was properly cold in the snow, and there was sleet and hail at different times. Yeah, down in the valleys it was quite warm.
Warm, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'll take 2 extra buffs, and I'll double up with my buffs. When I double my buffs, I get really warm. Pull my sleeves up, let some air in my front. So I set off like that. But when I got up higher, get my sleeves down, zip it up a bit, and get my buffs on, and it kind of gets me through. It gets to night time, I might lay it up a bit more, because you obviously got to be colder. But especially on first day, you're moving a bit better, and your heat retention's a lot better.
Yeah.
So that's my tactic when I'm on the first day. Get them buffs on.
Yeah, I mean, I'm very, very similar in that it's about having it's a system of, like you say, being able to ventilate, being able to warm yourself up, but without stopping and taking your pack off. My plan was I'm hiking, so I'm not going to be anywhere near as fast as you guys, but I really can't afford to then lose any time on the trail, stopping and faffing.
No.
So you just want to keep moving.
If you're layering up and layering down and layering up and layering down all the time, you could soon do an hour just doing that, guy.
Yeah.
So it's only 3 or 4 stops. Plus, while you're doing it, you may as well have something to eat, and then you have a drink, and then time just flies.
Yeah. So yeah. Up onto Kinder, enjoying the icy flagstones, heading towards.
Not too bad on there, actually. I was quite worried. I'd seen someone challenge it the day before, getting past the waterfall and then dropping down to the left for some reason. So I made sure I didn't do that. I kept up high. It was just a white out there. I went on the floor. I think it was lost.
Yeah.
I was a little bit paranoid for some reason, but I got through it. Okay. Up and over. Got Kinder, jumped up over Snake Pass. no dramas. Bit slippy on the flags, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Remember that
that's what I was thinking with the ice on the flags there was a bit
Yeah,
slippy.
I was running on edge quite a bit there just to get a bit of grip.
Yeah.
There were white out up on Bleaklow. I lost a path, went a bit left. Soon found my way, looked over, could see some trigger coming up. So crossed back over, got onto path again and dropped down. Seen a few familiar faces, Ian Symington, Fiona, Stu Russell, quite a few, Damien Briscoe, all saying hello and way past. Yeah, it was good.
Yeah.
Nice to see. Get down to Torside, film the water up. And I caught up with somebody who'd set off with Damien and Kim, and they were tired already. I thought, I didn't set off with them.
Yeah, it's very early to be getting tired already.
It is. They were puffing his cheeks out. Oh my god! I'm glad I didn't do it now. I'm glad I started mid pack.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So yeah, after that, where do we go? Went up Ladder Rocks. That were kind of sloppy, and just after the rocks, when you drop down, you go through all sorts of streams, don't you?
Yeah, I always find that climb up to Ladder is one of those places where I'm always risking working too hard.
Yeah.
Just trying to find that balance. You don't want to be stopping or anything silly like that, but you also don't want to push yourself too hard because it's properly steep going up there.
Yeah, well, you get us in a nice, good speed walk going. Get my head down. Try to keep upright. Don't go on no back complaints early on. Get to the top, just power up. I've got a fast walk naturally now, so that's quite good. I can just go into a fast walk quite quickly.
Yeah.
And then you can let go at the top. It's just not too bad, is it? You can just cruise all the way up again, all the way up to Black Hill. Yeah, and the road crossings. Each road crossing, I had some customers and friends all blowing horns and stuff. Quite nice to see. Some customers I didn't think were going to come out to see me. It were good. Blowing horns.
Yeah.
If I remember, it wasn't as bad weather up Black Hill as it were up Bleaklow.
No, you're right. I hadn't really thought about that. But yeah, Bleaklow it was complete whiteout. Yeah, Black Hill was still a bit of clag, but nowhere near as bad.
No, I think it passed. I think that was the worst of it.
Yeah.
Passed. So yeah, up and over, went off. We go down to reservoirs. I could see Eugenie then.
Yeah.
They were stood at bottom away across the bridge after reservoirs above Marsden, Wasenden, and then climbed up. We pretty much kept with each other within 100 meters in pretty much all night really, but they were having trouble navigating. I think you were asking everybody you could see, is this the way to Hebden? I'm an early Hebden. But yeah, he kept him in sight pretty much all that time.
Yeah, but it's. I mean, I've obviously. I think everyone's heard tales about his navigation, but a bit surprising on that section because it's not difficult nav, and he's done it enough times. I think he would just know that part by now. Yeah,
well, maybe it's a way of slowing himself down as well. He's not going off too fast.
Yeah,
I think that's always a danger into that part because it's easy running. All the way to Hebden really, apart from lost climbs. But I just made sure I had a speed walked on any uphill. Just tapped it out on flats and downs. Just keep moving. Just don't get out of breath. Best way to do it, I think. Yeah.
So what's your turnaround like in Hebden? You were 15 minutes person?
Yeah, I went in there long. I just had some. What do we have? Pasta. I had some pasta. Cup of tea. I got an arm strap for my water bottle, and it's got a Velcro on the back, and it kept flopping off. So I took some tie wrap in my drop bag, fixed that, had something to eat, my layers were okay. I already had my waterproof pants on. I always set off in my waterproof pants. So I'm good to go. Eugenie had already gone. Pardon me. And I set off. Had a friend there, Mana, who were in station. Nice to see. Set off, went up the track when Eugenie's there with all his kit off. Halfway up the track, faffing about with his kit. So I passed him and set off. By the time I got up to Pond and he caught up with me, could hear some music in the background. Or what the hell is this? He had some speakers on him. It was bizarre when I didn't know what it was, but it was quite nice through the night, really. Just every now and again, could hear these speakers. I'd either catch up with him or he'd catch up with me, and have music for 5 minutes. But yeah, it got a bit sloppy then underfoot once we got past. Once past Pondon, all the fields started, and so it got a bit slippy. The moorland after Pondon, I decided to get my poles out and start giving my legs and feet a rest. And within 5 minutes, I snapped my pole. So then I did rest at race with one pole. I looked like a little old man. But it worked because I found I could get to my food. And one of my problems with poles is that I always neglect my food.
Yeah.
Because I've always got something in my hand.
I find that as well. So I make sure now that I've got a good way of putting the poles away when I don't need them. Just to free my hands up for a while to make me eat more. I definitely ate more in this event than anything ever before. It still wasn't enough, but
no. I found though, especially this event, because it was a bit warmer, if I don't undo my top a bit, my poles folded down quite small, so I just stuck them in my top when I wasn't using them. And that was quite a good system, rather than messing about getting them in my pocket bag. I don't think there's any way that's really good with your poles. I've got one of them quivers, but I'm always messing about with it.
I've got the new Montane pack, the Gecko 20, and there's some little pockets on the front of that I don't think are designed for poles, but you can fit the handle in there and it fits in quite tight. And then there's an elastic near the top and clip that on, and they're really secure then. It's probably slightly overkill, but I found that really good because then they're on the front, you know where they are.
Easy accessible.
Especially
after a couple of days when you're tired.
Well, that was the thing as well. I hardly used my poles for the first 2 days for that reason, because I knew my arms. I wasn't sure if my legs had a couple of 100 miles in them. I knew my arms definitely didn't.
No.
So very little poles early on.
So where were we? Moors, Loversdale. Had some soup. Eugenie were women in. We set off together. So you probably saw a young lady, Catherine, in there. Somebody I know. She's doing her first 100-mile race this weekend, actually. Is she?
Yeah.
Which one?
Lady Anne's Way.
Oh yeah, Lady Anne's Way.
But no, it is great how Gary's got everybody coming out to man that checkpoint.
They do a really good job, though, don't
they? They do, yeah. I think I might join them in the summer and support the summer spine. Help them out a bit.
It must get hectic when everyone comes in at once.
Yeah.
But, try to be used to it.
Yeah, in 2020 when I got into there, Simon Roberts was wrapped up in a foil blanket because he'd gone out with John Kelly.
Right.
And I convinced him to leave with me and had a chat. And I obviously did too good a job because he got going again and finished, but I didn't.
So he pulled you out then, didn't he?
Yeah.
Tables turned. I like dropping down into there, apart from diversion weighing, but it's a bit a long way around. Mind you, can get moving again and get warmed up on the road a little bit. Back onto the fields. They weren't as bad as when I did my Challenger in 2020 when it was flooded. That was horrible, but it wasn't too bad this time. Keep moving that way through, and it's not long till you're in Gargrave, really, is it? No,
that's it. And then from Gargrave, things get a bit more kind of Yorkshire Dales and a bit more
Yeah.
wild, don't they? So
Yeah, they do. Yeah,
perks everybody up once you're getting towards Malham.
yeah, it's nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
But once you get to Malham, then it's better underfoot. Although I found on top of Cove were really thick clag and slippery, really slippery.
Right.
So that were a bit interesting. I were slipping about a little bit. Someone else overtook us there. I can't remember his name now. But he pulled out further on. He's a big calf.
So do you take the path? You know, when you get up to the top, you can go immediately right, or you can go further back and then right.
I went back and then right.
Yeah.
I just wanted to keep away from edge with it being slippery.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it. You're a bit less on the rocks. Although I did slip and bash something there.
Yeah.
I think I just hurt. It's one of those funny little slips that you do where you jam your thumb with your knee onto a rock or something like that.
Oh,
yeah. It just annoys you for the next 12 hours till it calms down.
Yeah. Well, I'll wear VJs, but with my little toe being as it were, I got some of them new Talons, some B2 ones, because they were wide fitting.
Yeah.
When I tried to get my feet in my VJs, just wasn't having it. So I got the other ones, the V2s. It was really good on mud, 8mm studs, but terrible on, especially on Yorkshire Dales.
Yeah.
Rock on limestone. It would just slow down and get through it without breaking your neck. I think that would.
Yeah.
Wishing I had VJs on.
Yeah, I'd La Sportiva's. It's a crossover. They're based on the Mutant at the start, and then I switched into Rock Lights.
Yeah.
The Rock Lights are quite a good one for the spine, I think. But
yeah,
a bit better on the rock and decent enough in the mud.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, got through got to Montane, 4 o'clock in the morning, I think it was. And a shadow was stood outside the checkpoint there. It turned out to be my daughter, my 19-year-old daughter. She was
Brilliant.
Stood there at 4 o'clock in the morning. Bless her. She drove up. So that was nice to see. But yeah, up and over, got to Penigent. All the way through this, everyone that climbed, I forgot to say this, my legs felt dead, if you get what I mean.
Yeah.
Just didn't feel like I had any energy in the climbs. I think this was from the lack of training and 8 weeks up to it, maybe. Or maybe double Bob Graham still in my legs. But going up Penigent, I was moaning to myself again about my legs. Just been a drama queen, really. So I thought that I get to the top. It's a bit light. I'm not doing Challenger. I don't have to get to end really quick now. Sit down and have something to eat. So I sat down out of wind, had something to eat, got my breath and set off again. And just caught up with a couple more from Challenger on the way down. Had a bit of banter with them on the way down and yeah, you're pretty good underfoot all the way then, aren't you?
Yeah.
All the way. Did the checkpoint, up Cam Road. Before I got to Cam Road, I followed the track the wrong way for 20 minutes like an idiot. So my head were down a bit when I got to a horse. Yeah. And I walked in and they said, "You're all right?" I said, "No, my head's struggling a bit. I'm all right, but my head's down a bit." And then one of the medics come up to me and says, "Do you want a DNF?" I went, "No." No. What you on about? So I grabbed my bag then. I got 2 or 3 portions of food down there. Thought I'd give myself an extra half an hour here just to sort my head out. I wish I'd have had a sleep earlier there, 20 minutes. Just a 20-minute nap might have got me over Shunnafell quicker. I got my feet taped up. I had a couple of hot spots and set off. Shunnafell, either icy paths or snow, couldn't see path. So my descent was really slow. I lost a lot of time on Shunnafell. From Thwaite to Kelt, that path, that undulating path with stones, I lost a lot of time there.
Yeah, it was the first time I'd done that path, and I don't think anybody had ever warned me about it. You look at it on a map and you think, well, it's fairly flat and just going around the side of a hill, but it's pretty awful, isn't it?
Yeah, you can't get going. There's it seems to never end. It's I finally got to end of that, and I followed a sign instead of looking at my GPS, or even looking at the sign might have helped. Followed it right down to this roaring waterfall. It's obviously a waterfall at the bottom, and I'd gone 2k off route. But while I was there, I thought, I put my torch on 1,000 and looked at it. It was beautiful. So, well, while I'm here, I may as well have a look. So, turned around, got back on track, and the never-ending climb up to Tan Hill. Then I remember thinking to myself, "Where is it? Where's it?" And then it was there. It was just seems to appear out of nowhere. A cup of tea, into bogs, and sometime after that, I seen 2 head torches behind me. So we're getting tired. I hadn't had a sleep. I was slowing down, and it were Eon and James that caught me up. So we started having some banter with them then, and we stuck together for a good couple of hours then, until we got to Middleton. This were a longer stop. I think I went in, I had about 2 or 3 portions of curry, some biscuits, an hour's sleep, sorted my kit out, and set off into night. Well, no, in the morning then, I suppose. I set off. James had already set off 10 minutes earlier, 5 minutes earlier. I caught him up about half an hour, 40 minutes after. And I think we tried dropping each other about 5, 6, 7, 8 times that day, but it were a lovely day. That were bright sunshine, like a spring day that day, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
Tuesday, I can't remember. One of
Yeah,
days, you know.
I've heard. I'll have been sort of coming like past Tan Hill at that time, and I was ended up with Michael Burke through the bogs and stuff after Tan Hill, and like you say, it was just such a lovely afternoon. We ended up just, I don't know if we're going at his pace or my pace, but we just stuck together and chatted all afternoon. It was it was surreal.
Good fun, isn't it? Yeah. We had a really good pace going. There's a lot of water. There were a lot of water, but it was all in rivers. Underfoot. It was still icy on Ike Up Nick. I don't know if it were when you were there.
Well, we got diverted, which was a very strange diversion because it was signposted on a piece of fence that looked like it had been knocked down by a tractor into a field that didn't have a footpath sign on it. But when I checked on my map, there was actually a footpath across the field. Yeah. So it was probably one of those diversions that looked absolutely fine when you looked at a map, but on the ground, there was like, I was only 3rd or 4th person to be diverted. So there was no footprints or anything to follow on the ground. Oh, you know, God. You look at it, you think, should I really be going in the middle of this field?
Turning around.
I initially decided not to follow it, but then thought, well, you have to, and took the time and worked out where it was sending me and then went back to it. Then the guy after me didn't follow it because apparently the sign had been moved in the wind. And so it didn't make any sense at all. And he slipped on the rocks and ended up DNFing.
Yeah, well, they were a bit. The ones down by the river.
Yeah,
they were. Again, the shoes I had on want the best on them. So I went a bit too high at first, and I thought, what am I doing here? So I dropped down. I just kept near water. I thought if there's water on it, it won't be too slippery. Got through it eventually.
Yeah.
But yeah, get past that, get on track. Then it were all good again. You can get your head down, get a good pace going. Try not to get lost. Take right turns.
Yeah, well, was it still daylight when you got on the track there?
Yeah, it was still It was daylight all day. We got down, we were dropping down into Dufton. John Knapp were there, and he told us about, this was up at Ike Up Nick, he told us about the cafe being open.
Yeah.
Me and James were just talking about food all the way down. And it seemed like about 2 minutes because we were talking about food. And I got down and I nipped into the cafe and went, right, what have you got? And he goes, burgers. Right, can I have a burger and a latte? I get a latte. And I said, can you bring it onto the checkpoint, please? And he said, he went, okay. So I went onto the checkpoint and just laid down at the floor and had 10 minutes.
Yeah.
While food were coming. And when I woke up, I could hear all this commotion. And Ian had come straight through. So I thought I'll have 10 minutes before I got Crossfell. So off we went. Went the first part, going through them farms, that was horrible mud, I remember. Absolutely
Yeah, well, it's funny enough. I was up there a couple of months before, kind of a recce sort of. I had a birthday party for Gary Chapman in Greg's hut, and it was just as muddy then. So I think I don't know if I think it was Elaine asking if the farmer had churned it up especially for the race, but she seems to have forgotten that she fell over that night on that muddy section. so no, it's just normally like that apparently.
It's horrible, wasn't it? Well,
yeah, it was.
Once you passed, it's not too bad. No, we climbed up. It was still daylight, pretty much all the way up to Knockfell. We were a beautiful evening. We're looking over at lakes, and there was just a bank of clouds, and you could see mountains popping out of clouds, like floating islands. Yeah, it was lovely. Got my head torch up on top on one at Duns, and then it dropped really cold. It was like spring at the bottom. I had to stop and put another layer on. It's not like me. I usually just put my buffs on, but I had 2 pairs of gloves, my over mitts, so 3 pairs all in all. But when nice and warm and just powered up and over. It were windy on Crossfell as always.
Yep.
Decided to stop, have some noodles. You've got to do, haven't you?
You have. You got to.
We found out that Ian had gone straight through, which it's probably bought him 10, 20 minutes there from me stopping. And then there was that big, horrible lane come road. I can't call it a road, rocky road all the way down. Takes forever.
Yeah, I think it's one of those where, like for yourself, where you're trying to run and trying to make up time because it's going downhill. That's definitely where you want to be going at some pace. Like you say, it's rocky and not the easiest one to run on, especially when you've just come over Crossfell. But for me, it would have been like into the next afternoon by this time.
Yeah.
When I was coming down there, and I had to just hike the whole thing because of injuries. And it was completely thoroughly pleasant. Just hiking down it and not pushing myself to go too fast. So it's just quite different when you're trying to achieve a different thing on the same track. It can feel.
I've got previous on tracks like that as well. I've done many a fell race, and I've got to the bottom, and there's a track, and I've done fine over coming down fell sides and tussocks and cliffs. And as soon as I get to the bottom where they're taking pictures, go straight over and you got blood pumping out, and so that's always in the back of my mind when I'm on a track like that. God, will it never end, this thing? But yeah, eventually it does, doesn't it? Then it's onwards to lasagna, isn't it? And
yeah. How many portions did you have?
I had 3 portions straight away. Soaked my feet, had a 40-minute sleep. I got up, I was still really, really groggy. Someone brought me some scrambled egg on toast, I think it was. It was nice. Lovely. And all of a sudden, I just come around like that. I thought, right, this is what I want. Can I get this? Can I get that? Got something else to eat, can't remember what it was. Cup of tea. Got my feet taped up and set off again. And James were ready again at the same time, so we're off again together. So where were we? Alston. Yeah, and off we went. James was a bit groggy. We got to Slaggyford, and my feet were hurting. So I took off I had Ingenue Merinos on, and they had some dry 360s, waterproof socks. So I took off my waterproof socks, and my feet were fine, and I had loads of room in my shoes again.
Yeah.
And that was it. And I stuck to one pair of socks after that, and off we went. It's a long slog that night, really, if I remember rightly. James was suffering, he was tired. We got to one point where they wanted to sleep. So I sat down behind the wall, just closed my eyes for 5 minutes. I got up, come round, and he's laid down in a hawthorn bush. I said, what are you doing? He said, it's really comfy. I said, wait for that. Come on. So we got off again then. And then there's that moorland before you get to Adrian's Wall. Yeah. That was hard work, horrible slop. Yeah. Not even a path through there, is there? No, it's... There must be a better way around there. Must be.
Yeah, there just doesn't seem. It's one of those. Actually, I was with Sabs on her, her Pennine Way FKT a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
I was supporting her through there, and it was dark, and it was the first time I'd been on that section. And I mean, Sabs is brilliant. She'll yell at you at the time, but she like apologizes and forgets all about it later. But she's like yelling at me like, "We've got to nav this properly. We can't be going like all over the place on this field." And I'm thinking like, "What am I doing? I can't find a track here at all.
Yeah.
There's nothing to follow." But there really is nothing on the ground for most of that.
No, I think I went through that with my GPS in my hand.
Yeah.
Just to make sure. I had it on my watch and my GPS. I thought, right, I'll get the nav spot on here and move as fast as I can.
Yeah.
And I got to it eventually. Across the road. That field after the road, it were churned up. You could tell there'd been a race across there. Follow all them footprints. That were quite good. Yeah. And then, like you said earlier, onto Hadrian's Wall, which never ends once there's a diversion.
No.
I think I've seen it all now. Yeah.
I mean, we probably might as well have just like continued on to Newcastle and got a drink and then came back along, because
it felt like I was early at Newcastle. It was quite a treat though, because when you get to end and you go through the fields and then you take a left. When we got to there was a photographer, and he gave us both a Mars bar.
Oh,
so that was nice.
Yeah.
He says, "I've got a box full of Mars bars. Do you want one?"
Yeah, awesome. He wasn't there when I got there.
No, they're like I don't know. They were like a saint. Yeah, 3 Mars bar, awesome. Yeah, and we were all daylight all the way through that. We started onto Hadrian's Wall in daylight, and it probably got dark just before we got to Bellingham. We seen Sab somewhere else. She told us about Eugenia dropping out.
Yeah.
When we got to Understated, Helen had told us that Eon had gone through about 2 hours before. So he'd made a lot of time up on us. So that were a case of second and third then. I couldn't see me, especially with the diversion, getting anywhere near him. And he's moving faster than me at the time. So get to Bellingham. The idea was, we had a look at the laptop when we were coming. We could see Simon and Mark. We had enough time to have a 40-minute sleep. Had enough time to have about 4 portions of food, I think. Got my feet wrapped. And that's where Kevin said to us, if you wish, you can both finish at the same time if you want. So I went, yeah, it's good. And off we went, jumped in car. Not a bad climb up. Achieve it with diversion, I don't think.
No, yeah, that's the diversion climb it's a lot better than the main route, isn't it?
Yeah, especially on the road.
Longer and gentler, and yeah,
you get warmed up, can't you?
Yeah, because the Pennine Way there, there's a really steep section, isn't there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Powered up. Once we were up there, can't remember how long we were running for. We seen a light down at Valley. Up the wrong way, but got it in his head. Simon's gone straight through. So I made a fatal mistake. I powered my phone up, thought I'll have a look, and it must have froze on the map. And I must have looked at your eons, and it showed a dot on top of first climb. And we're like, top of first climb. So like, it's unbelievable, catching us up. We've got to lose it here. We're going too slow. So that was it. I smashed it all the way to hook 1, and I think we did 2.5 hours to hook 1 from car. And we got there, and the guy goes, "You stopping?" He goes, "No, we can't stop long. He's just behind us." And they were like, looking confused. So what does it say on your phone? And he looked, he went, "He's asleep in Bellingham." Oh my God! I wish I'd never asked though, because then I went tired. I had an expedition food in there, pasta and coffee, and it just filled my tummy up. And I just felt drained then, because I knew pretty much no one could get me behind. And Eon's that far ahead, he's powering on. Probably no chance of getting him. So it were a case of just plugging on. And I got tireder and tireder. I had to lay down for 3 or 4 minutes in one at dips just to close my eyes. Felt a lot better. And then cutting across, and that climb up to where hallucination started a little bit. I'm climbing up to the Cheviot Junction.
Yeah.
And I was looking down at the flags, and everyone at flags looked like a picture. And it was weird. It just looked like a perfect picture. And that track, I mean, I've looked at it on OS maps, and it's only 2K, 3K, and it seemed to go on for hours, that climb.
Yeah.
Weirdly. But yeah.
Yeah, I had a nice little nap, probably not far away from where you did. Same thing.
Where you dropped down.
Well, I don't know exactly, because I was so tired. I teamed up with this guy Dave, and we were keeping each other awake with conversation. Every now and again, the conversation just faded out because we're both getting tired. And in the end, it was just a nice little spot of heather. That's why I was laughing when you talk about like lying in the hawthorn bush.
Yeah.
I lay on some very comfortable heather and had 2 minutes sleep. And it was amazing. I was like wide awake.
Feel a new man, don't you?
Yeah. It's like, So it's not the same when the kids were small and you get a short sleep and you have to be awake again. It just doesn't work like that, does it?
I don't know. No. But we're good. All the way through this, James's voice had been going slowly. The effects at racing, his voice was going, and I was laughing my head off at him. And he kept looking at me, and calling me an old man with me one stick, and just banter flying back and forth all the time. It was good fun. Yeah, it was nice to see the flags going down to Hut 2.
Yeah.
If it were for you, could see lights as well at the bottom. They had their head torches on, so that was good.
Yeah. We were completely in the clag when we came down there, so those flags were really useful because we couldn't see off the path. Basically, the edges of the path were gone. It was that claggy. So
you can go a bit far to the right, can't you, if you're not careful. I can't remember how long we stopped there. Probably longer than I thought. Probably 10 minutes. Got something to eat. They'd have chocolate bars and a cup of tea.
Nice.
I think it was. Yeah. Did you stop long there?
I didn't stop at Hut 2. There was most of the safety team were asleep. There was one guy up to greet us, and we asked him then, like, how long does it normally take people to get to the finish from here? He said about 3 hours, and we had 2 hours and 43 minutes if we wanted to be under 5 days. So we said, right, we're not stopping. Then we're gonna crack on, which worked. We got under the 5 days. So.
Yeah. It's a long way down, isn't it? To get over that. Yeah. I'm glad we didn't go up that way.
Yeah.
But it's a long way down.
Yeah, I mean that section immediately after Hut 2 was very muddy.
Yeah, it was.
Just remember.
Before you get to Skrill and you climb up again.
Yeah.
And after that and all, you got to climb up a little bit more. I didn't realise you had to do that. So we're panicking, thinking I'd gone past the stile.
Yeah.
But looking, I just had to trust the GPS because it was dark.
Yeah.
And it was just in my mind playing things. Panicking. I don't want to mess it up now at the end. But got up and over. Every time I got to a gate, if you were at a stile, if there was a gate nearby, I'd use the gate. Yeah. Just to try and not, because my legs weren't working as good, swinging the legs over.
I mean that's a good thing about being out helping people with their FKTs and stuff. You get used to opening the gate for them wherever you can. Yeah. And you realise how much that saves your legs. So I did that all the way through the whole thing. Yeah. Anytime there was an option not to use a stile. Yeah. Yeah.
Even climbing over a gate, if it comes down to it, it's easier than getting over one. Them walls are quite big, aren't they? Some of them.
Yeah, I mean, and some of the wooden stiles can be really slippy as well. I know somebody who was on a Challenger and before they got to Torside that managed to slip on a stile and they were out of the race.
Well, even that early on. Wow.
Yeah. So
I think Damien struggled on stiles, didn't he, for Alston, and they were high up.
I've got to laugh because the only time I've sort of met him in person, other than seeing him running off the start line the other week, was on Sabs' FKT.
Yeah.
The second stint that I did, Damo came to join to support as well. And the first thing he did was he walked ahead of Sabs up to a gate and he didn't open it for her. And so I started taking the piss out of him for, like, you know, he's so used to everybody opening gates for him that he can't open gates for anybody else. And he took it really well, and we had banter about it, like for the next 5 hours or something. So
Yeah, so you can wind him up forever then, can't you?
yeah. Then I went to see Sabs finish the next morning, and Damo was there, and he opened the gate for me and asked for marks out of 10 for opening the gate. So, yeah, I'm not surprised he struggles with styles. He's used to people opening gates for him.
Yeah, it could be. That's what it is. It's to go up and just go over styles all day, just to get some practice. Yeah. That track into town seems a long way as well, doesn't it?
It's just always getting a little bit longer, isn't it?
Yeah. And they need to move town a bit closer. It's a lot easier. But yeah, the sun were coming out at the bottom. It was lovely. It was nice down in Valley. Again, a beautiful day. Weird.
Yeah.
The weather were cracking. I think it made it more muddy though, the weather.
Yeah, like you said, the first 2 days were very mixed.
Yeah.
Like the second day wasn't too bad, but it didn't quite want to sort itself out and settle into some nice weather. And a lot of people dropped out in that time. And then the weather was for a winter spine, it was fantastic. A lot of clag. It seemed to come down later on at night as well. The first part of the night tended to be like moon's out, stars are out. And then at some point the clag just dropped and you couldn't see a thing.
No, when it got a bit cooler, wasn't it?
Yeah. But then I think very few people dropped out from when the weather improved. So it just shows how many people aren't used to the weather.
Yeah, well, it's a hard race in the fact of it's hard to get out of a checkpoint. Like when my head were down at Hawes, it seems such a long way to Alston, Bellingham. Yeah. Well, it is a long way, isn't it? But I think you realise at some point that you've only got to be doing 2-3 miles an hour.
Yeah.
And so if you're doing a 40-mile stretch, say, in between Alston and Bellingham, Middleton and Alston, it's not even a 40 miles, isn't it?
Yeah.
So you're talking a good 15-20 hours.
Yep.
I think once you get your head around that, it's not too bad.
Yeah, well, that's it. And I mean, like I said, it was an interesting thing, hiking the whole thing. So I was taking 20 hours between checkpoints.
Yeah.
And I'm all right with that. Just crack on and just keep moving. It felt kind of a little bit more mellow than trying to go as fast as I could. You know, just keep moving and just enjoy it. That's it. So another reason why it's interesting. I want to chat with somebody like you at the sharp end, pushing, but at the same time you don't want to push too hard.
Is this really? Well, apart from double bob, but it's kind of a different multi-day. That's a non-stop. Where this is, I'll be having different sleep time, so I didn't know how my body would react to it properly. I always say, I've got kids, so you get used to not sleeping, especially when they're younger. But I think I did all right with 3 hours kip. I wish I'd had another sleep hard. Not long, only 20 minutes. But I think that next section, especially go over Shunner and probably up to in between Shunner and the Moorland after before you get after Waterfall, sorry.
Yeah, after Keld, is it?
Keld, I think in between them I lost a lot of time.
Yeah.
I think I lost about 2.5 hours on James and Ian on that section. And I think it was a mixture between of just losing the confidence, my head were down and just not having that little bit of sleep. So I think next time I will have 20 minutes there.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things I found, I had a lot more sleep than you, but that was kind of planned because I was going slower and I was going to have longer time before I get to the next checkpoint. But one almost all of my sleeps were in the checkpoints, and I found that just reduced the faff a lot. Because I know Bill slept more out of the checkpoints than in the checkpoints, and it just seems like the kind of faff time of stopping and starting again gets doubled up on then, because you're always going to stop on the checkpoints.
Yeah.
And if you're then stopping again, like in Dufton or Tarn Hill or wherever, you're adding more and more stop starts in there. But yeah, Bill was a bit quicker than me, so
yeah, he did well. Yeah, he did.
Yeah,
he
did.
So yeah, there's quite a few things I'll do different now. I think I can knock a few hours off. I think I'm good for 2 hours, knocked off at least.
Yeah, well, you were only 3 hours and 20 minutes behind Ian.
Yeah. It'd be nice to see if I could get a couple of hours up. Maybe I might be able to push myself that a little bit more. But it was nice running with Ian for a bit and just listening to him, spending time with him, and listening to his tactics and what have you.
Yeah,
I mean, it was bizarre when we got down to Middleton. His toes were red raw. They looked like little cocktail sausages on fire, and they looked bad. My feet didn't look right good. James's were freakishly normal, but he got them taped up, did he? And he said they were a lot better after than they were before. So
yeah, I had that with mine. I don't normally have any issues, or very few issues with my toes, but even by Fountains Fell, and then going over Penn again, my toes were completely wrecked. I had to sit in Horton for a good 40 minutes and sort my toes out, sort my feet out, but then after that, getting them taped up by the medics, they were actually better at the end of the race than what they were in Horton, which is
that's why I did it when I got to Hawes. I told them that I had my big outside and my big toes and pads on top of my knuckles for some reason, and that's all I got done every time. And it seemed to have done them well. Yeah.
Oh, they're good sports, those medics.
Yeah.
Especially when you get one on each foot, taping them up. Did you have the experience of a medic with cold hands and a medic with warm hands, one on each foot?
No.
That's really strange.
Yeah. Is this my mind? I was playing tricks.
Yeah. Every time the cold hand touches your foot, you think it's pain. That's kind of your first reaction. And it's
No, I'll have to ask him next time I do that.
Yeah, it was just coincidence with these two medics had completely different temperatured hands, and it was weird. It was so hard because you're trying not to flinch because there's always one of them sticking a needle in somewhere.
Yeah. Little get a bit of pus out.
Yeah.
I think I only had one blister on a little toe. So I did well with blisters.
Yeah.
I had a big one after, but so it's obviously deep rooted. In the big toe, I got an infection.
Right.
This was after the race, but antibiotics. But it took me a full day to drain it. Toenail came off, and
nice.
It was a right mess. But I didn't have no problems through the race with it.
Yeah, I've had loads of blisters, more than I've ever had before, but no infections. Kept them clean, looked after them, and
good.
Yeah, it's all good. So yeah, I mean it's a hell of a race. Second on a winter spine.
Yeah. I'll do it again, definitely.
Yeah. So what's next in the meantime?
In the meantime, I need to do my Ramsey just to get it out of the way. I've done all the rounds then. I've got Lakeland 100 booked again. I want to have a crack at Wainwright this year. So I've got a lot of recceing to do.
Yeah.
So I've got 17 legs to recce. So that'll be starting.
Looks a grand undertaking, does that?
It does, but it'll be good. Yeah. I like climbing, and as long as I can get my legs right. They didn't feel right at all on climbs, at all on spine. Although my time were all right. When I got to Hawes and my head were down, I got there in 29.5 hours, and my target time was 30.
Yeah.
So I don't know what I was looking for.
Yeah, I had a quick look at that as well because I read that in your race report. And when you won the Challenger, wasn't it 29 hours
In a
into
couple of
horse?
seconds. Yeah.
Yeah.
So so I wasn't far off.
So yeah.
I took that wrong turn down that track, 20 minutes. I'd have been close to my other time. I didn't feel like I was going fast at all.
Yeah.
But
it's definitely good going.
Yeah, good fun.
Yeah, and I need to have some of what you eat. I'm not as fast as you are.
I'm just a bit stupid, I
think. Well, a lot of people that know me would say the same.
Yeah, it's all good fun.
It is. It's really good fun.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm getting. I've got to give it another week, I think, till I start training again. That's my plan. Go see physio tomorrow. She might have a different opinion.
Anything sort of seriously sore or just fatigue?
No, I had a tendon problem on my left leg, but I'd had a little cut on my shin from one of Styles.
Yeah.
And it got a little bit infected. So on top of your big fat legs, what you have, obviously, your legs and your feet swell up. Then I had this tendon injury, and then I had the infection on top, and it looked really bad.
Yeah.
And they thought it was compartment syndrome. So I went to the doctors on the Friday when I got home, and I said to her, look, I need some antibiotics. I need to be at home with my feet in the air, so don't panic when you see my legs. So she sent me straight to hospital. So we're there for 4 or 5 hours, and they ruled out compartment syndrome and give me some antibiotics.
Yeah.
And I could get home and get my feet up in the air. And it's fine now. I've got just that tendon still.
Yeah. The one on the front or on the side?
Sorry?
Is it the tendon on the front, on the shin?
Yeah.
That's the ones I have all my trouble with.
Yeah. It's going down now. It's just, I think I got them from retrievers. I think that's where it started.
Yeah.
Maybe at last descent, what did it, really? Because we're pushing it a bit down there. Can't remember what we got down in. About 2.5, I think it was. But it were just sore. But it'll be that in a week. Well, I'll go out and bike this weekend, I think.
Yeah.
Weather's nice. But go see your physio tomorrow, see what she says.
Yeah.
Probably tell me
well, if that tendon's sounds like similar to what I've had, you're better off putting the extra time in now to get it to heal. Otherwise, it'll keep coming back.
Well, I haven't had a good rest for well over a year now.
Yeah.
I had a big year last year. I did Paddy Buckley round, and Lakeland 100 double bob, and then spine. So I think I deserve a couple of weeks off.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't have the best of years last year, but I've just done the spine, so I'm having a good rest before I get back to it as well.
Fantastic year, isn't it? As long as you got spine in you, right?
I know, that's it. Yeah, I've got to try and prepare for Dragons back in September.
Yeah, that's September, isn't it? It's on my list.
Yeah.
On my list. Once I stop doing silly challenges, I can do normal races then, can't I?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it tends to be a bit more the other way around. It's people do races to kind of learn the game and then start doing the challenges. Because
I've kind of gone the other way around. I mean, I've only been first time I did an ultra in 2018, so it's still pretty new. I've learned a lot though. This race especially, I learned a lot in this race. Tactic wise, it's relentless race. Especially if you wanted to get a place, it was kind of good when we thought Simon were hot on his heels. It was good tactically then, getting out at checkpoint before he comes, so he has to have a sleep and etc. That was really good fun. It'd be nice to experience it with no diversions though, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately with the spine, there never seems to be no diversions, but definitely without the big diversions.
No, the big ones.
Yeah.
I don't fancy doing this to Hadrian's Wall again.
No.
No,
I don't fancy doing that again.
no. Mind you, I've been through them for this, and it can be, especially the first one, can be a bit sloppy, can't it?
Yeah, it's always very, very boggy in that first one, and a
Yeah.
lot of chance of hurting yourself. So yeah, initially when I saw that we were diverted around that, I thought, oh, that's probably a good thing, but I didn't enjoy the diversion.
No, it's same old ultra thing, isn't it? It could be 2K, but it seems about 20K, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Beating yourself up in your mind.
Yeah, that's it. Just like I say, however you're feeling, you're feeling like you're not going quick enough a lot of the time, and but the ground's so varied on the spine that there are definitely places where you can go quick, but there's a lot of places, like you're saying, coming out with Thwaite and places like that where you just can't go quick, but you're just trying not to lose time against other people.
Yeah,
it's like, it's not about a pace, so it's about, well, what's the normal pace for this section.
Yeah, it's what's good pace for you without beating yourself up mentally as well.
Yeah,
that's one of the things I found with the diversion as well, was mentally. So a lot of my races, what I've wrecked, I break it down to really small chunks, just so you can have loads of little wins. I find it helps really well. So the problem was I ain't wrecked any of that diversion. So as soon as I got to the bit where Pennine Way goes off, I couldn't break it down. I think that's what stretched it out for me as well. Definitely.
Yeah, I think so, because I know it was 3.5 miles longer going on the diversion, but I don't know what the total length of diversion was. It was sort of 5, 6, 7 miles.
Yeah.
And that, like you say, it's quite a long way when you're not able to break it down. You're not able to tick anything off along the way.
No.
Because even with like the normal Pennine Way bit there, it's a pretty awful section. But you come off Hadrian's Wall, then you go through a boggy bit, then you go through that foresty bit, then you've got some more kind of weird bits through some farmers' field, and like you say, you just keep ticking these bits off in your head, and you know what's coming next. And
before you know it, you're at the farm, aren't you?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But on that diversion, I liked the road bit actually, just to stretch my legs again. So I remember pushing down there. We got it to about 15-minute mile, and James was like, "Bloody hell!" So we ended up slowing down.
Yeah.
Pushing a bit too hard, I think. But yeah, it was just nice to get my feet moving again and my legs moving.
Yeah, it's. I just remembered it's those little things that you see on these, especially on something like the spine. When I was on that road bit of the diversion, you're coming up to like turn left, where you're almost getting back onto the spine, onto the Pennine Way. Yeah, there was a van parked there, and I was thinking, it's probably safety team. At least I can have a bit of banter with somebody for 30 seconds, just to break things up a bit. And as I walked up, there was a guy in a field at the side. It's just full of mole hills, and this guy's walking around in this field. I think that's just really weird. Am I hallucinating here? And then as I got up to the van, there's a big sign in the van saying he's like mole elimination or something. And it's like, how boring is that? just some guy who parked his van there because he was walking around a field trying to kill moles. It's like, I want someone to talk to.
That's one of the things I noticed, all the way up. There's a lot of bloody moles. Some of them moles are huge, aren't they? They're massive.
Yeah.
Yeah, there must be millions of them.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember where it was in one of the many, many, many fields. I remember it being so claggy I couldn't even see my feet and sort of crashing through a molehill and nearly falling over.
Yeah.
Yeah, somewhere. No idea where that was.
Like 1.5 feet high.
Yeah. Yeah, you can nearly bashing your knee on it. They're that high.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Well, thanks for the chat, Dougie.
Yeah, no worries.
It's been good.
I'll have to get out for a run one time, you're only down the road, aren't you?
Yeah. We'll have to when I'm feeling brave enough to. Because I don't know, do you know Ed Highland, who's recently joined Calling About It? Yeah. So I know Ed, and I've been out for a run with him before, and he just killed me.
It kills everyone, does Ed?
Yeah. Even Dan Marsden.
Dan Marsden lives there.
Yeah. I struggle to keep up with him. He's a bit quick for me. And John Allen, you'll know as well.
Yeah, John. Yeah. There's quite a few.
Yeah, but we'll definitely get out for a run sometime, and I'm sure you'll need a few supporters on your win rates as well.
Yeah, I will.
I'll try and get along and do a leg on that. That'll be fun.
Hopefully, it'll either be in May or September.
Yeah.
I won't do it in summer. Too warm.
Yeah. Oh, it sounds like you like me. I don't like the heat either.
I can't do warm.
I was supposed to have done Dragon's Back last year. I deferred because of injury. It stopped me doing enough
I bet
training.
you're glad you didn't, aren't you?
And yeah, and when I saw how hot it was and other people I knew were dropping out because of the heat, I thought, yeah, that would have been me.
Yeah.
So yeah, got to do it this year, whatever.
You won't get 2 nice weeks in Wales consecutive. No chance.
Yeah. Right. So I guess let's finish. Any advice that you'd give somebody who's thinking of the winter spine for next year?
Winter spine next year. Well, just keep plugging on, even when you're feeling like giving up. It's think of the food at the checkpoints. It'll get you there.
Yep.
And break it down into next field, into the next field, into the to the next road, to the next bridge, to the next style, and then you got little wins. You're better having little wins than a big failure.
Yeah,
definitely.
Yep, good, solid advice.
Yeah.
Cheers, Dougie.
No worries. Take care.